What's up, guys? Been a little while. We are playing some Code Realize Wintertide Miracles. It's a dating sim, and it should be amazing. Oh. Obviously. Go on a date with two characters who strike your fancy. You can even alternate story. Oh. What is this? Alright, let's just... Oh! What is this? I know nothing about this game. I just thought it was... let's go with this gentleman. And this boy. We're gonna try out triangle date. On a rare night in the summer where the humidity isn't overwhelming. ... That's right, you're doing great, Tink. Slowly, just keep it coming. The moon. Like this? Magnify a bit and... Alright, should be good now. How's it look? Can you see it? Oh, I see it. I see it. Impy? Wow, the moon looks so big. My voice naturally perked up as the moon became became gigantic before me. A part of me wanted to keep staring at the moon, but I decided to let myself look away from the telescope so that I could properly express how deeply moved I was. My view comes back to the scene. In front of me, instead of the moon, a very, very pleased Impy standing tall. You're amazing, Impy. The moon became so much more beautiful than I imagined it could. Right? It's Mr. Impy's handcrafted astronomy telescope, after all. I turned up the volume thinking for some reason they would speak English. Obviously I was incorrect. So, my bad. Oh, by the way, did you notice? It looks like there's some sort of pattern on the moon's surface, doesn't it? Pattern. As he said, so I peeked into the telescope again, and... Oh, you're right. The dark parts and the bright parts seem to come up together to create some kind of picture. This is... How is she seeing this? Blurry as hell. Whenever I've looked at it in the past, I always thought it was just a shadow. I never really noticed. Those dark spots, they're called the Lunar Maria. Maria, doesn't that mean oceans in Latin? How do I know that? Just offhand. Possibly. They sort of look like oceans, but... Well, unlike oceans, I'm not seeing any waves up there. I'm doubtful. Personally, I think they're chunks of black rocks or something. As he made his opinion known, Impy stared into his astrological telescope that I was using. It was I thought it and I thought it might be a little uncomfortable if Impy was to get down onto my level, but without hesitating, Impy crouched down and began to gaze through it at the moon, after tilting his head a few times. I suppose this is something that can't be seen even with my telescope. I see. But your goal is to go to the moon, isn't it, Impy? Yup. I'll be able to answer our questions about that thing when I go see it for myself. Once I find out what the Lunar Maria is, I'll come let you know about it right away. Really? That means we'll be the very first thing in the world to know what the Lunar Maria is. My heart is beating really fast. Huh? Yeah, doki doki. It's beating fast? Could it be? Me talking about something romantic has finally made your heart flutter? Why does he have fangs? No. It's beating fast, but not like that. I'm sorry. You were so quick to deny it. That cuts deep. Oh well. Anyway, team, are you familiar with any constellations? Yes, although I've only heard about them. We can skip the details. There's actually a constellation you can see during this time of year. With this great weather we're having, I'm sure you'll be surprised at how clearly you'll be able to see it. I want to see. I moved the telescope around to try my best to find stars that look like constellations. The stars aren't going anywhere. Calm down. Oh? Just then I heard footsteps coming from the mansion. Both Impy and I looked toward the direction at the same time. Good evening. My, what a lovely night. What are you two doing here? The owner of the voice emerged from the darkness. It's the other boy. Oh, Sainty G? That's exactly what it looks like. We're on an enchanting secret date under this romantic evening sky. Saint Germain. I see. You're stargazing. Yes, it's a good night to see the stars. Upon looking at the telescope I had before me, Saint Germain elegantly ignored Impy's claim. Do you fancy astronomy as well, Saint Germain? Yes, I do. The wildest dreams live among the stars. Oh, I knew it. Of course you understand, Sainty G. That's right. Thinking back now, you have quite a few books on the stars in your room. Is that so, Saint Germain? Do you know a lot about the stars? Just as much as the average person, although I don't believe I'd have as much knowledge about it as Impy here. However, I do have the experience of journeying across many countries around the world. Along my travels, I have spent many nights staring out into the starry skies from different places in the world. Really? I wonder if the starry skies in other countries look much different from the starry sky I'm seeing in London. We're in London? An old friend of mine also had a big interest in astrology. I was told many interesting things about that field by this person too. What's astrology? Sort of like fortune telling. It uses the position of the moon and the stars to tell fortunes and predict the future, right? Yes, that explanation is about right. This is killing me. I didn't know such a thing existed. I've only ever dealt with the science, so hearing about it was quite a change of pace. If you really are interested, I could tell you about it sometime. Yes, please, I'd love that. Oh, he's getting in there. Then let us have a long chat about it at a later date. Over some nice tea. Just the two of us. I'm excited already. We're supposed to be stargazing alone, and here Saint G is taking the spotlight. Forget that. Come on. Let's keep stargazing. The stars in the sky are getting grumpy because they are being completely ignored. Oh, that's right. I should try to enjoy the clear night sky while it's here right now. I direct the telescope toward the sky once again and try to look into it. However... Please hold for a moment. While we're at this, perhaps we can relocate to a location where the night sky may be better seen. Where would we be able to see it better? I thought I could already see it clearly. Is there somewhere better than this in London? Impy? Could you come here for a moment? Lend me your ear? What is it? Some kind of secret? Oh? While I tilted my head questioningly, Saint Germain quietly whispered to Impy. Then, after Saint Germain whispered something for a few seconds, Saint G, that's a great idea. You're an absolute genius. A lord of novel ideas. I am honored by your praise. Is this an appropriate request then? Yes, leave it to me. Genius, Mr. Impy will prepare it in a jiffy. ... While I tilted my head in confusion, Impy took off running full speed towards somewhere. What? Without knowing where we were headed, I boarded onto it as the two urged me. As of this moment, I am enjoying this journey out through the sky in the ornithopter? But I always think about this, but does anyone ever remember the maximum capacity in this thing is one person? Huh? But you were so excited about doing this before we got on. I guess I forgot about it myself. Impy yells as he drives while desperately trying to keep balance. If we bring ourselves closer, please excuse me, Miss Tink. Oh. Oh. He's touching me. I feel Saint Germain wrap around me from behind. Oh my god. I involuntarily let out a high-pitched voice. What? Now wait a minute. You're practically hugging her at this point. Impy yells, looking back at us. Impy, keep your eyes on the sky. Please pay us no mind and just focus on driving this thing. You're such a quiet little bird. I'm going to tell Lupin on you later. After this exchange, the place we arrived at in this unsteady ornithopter was... Oh, there it is. It's Sagittarius. And the one close to it is Scorpio. Ophiuchus on the opposite side. I see. What strange names for a group of stars. In the center of the nation, Buckingham Palace. On its rooftop. Our lively voices let out of place compared to the Germain and Impy. The two pointed to the sky and spoke to me of their vast knowledge of the moon and the stars, things that were new to me. Tink, did you know that the names of the constellations all have their own little origin story? Origin story? People from long ago thought about what shapes the stars resembled and ascribed names and myths to them. The Sagittarius was, what was it again? Or Scorpion. It sort of looks like a person on a horse, equipped with a bow, does it not? I thought so at first too. When you take first look, all you can see is the strange stick figures. Yeah, people from long time ago must have a lot of imagination. These origins and myths of constellations were created back before the advent of lighting or machines. No entertainment whatsoever. People must have healed their minds by thinking and seeking their passions among the starry skies and creating stories. No machines, lighting, or entertainment. I've grown up in such a developed country that it's a world that is difficult to imagine living in, but a tale that gets passed down from generation to generation even after so many years. I was able to understand that the people who created these tales were quite romantic, visionaries in the truest sense of the word. I'm planning on going to the moon someday, but that would mean challenging the myths and legends themselves, wouldn't it? Well, why don't I have a voice? Well, if there are tales and myths about the moon, about moons, then yes, I suppose it would mean that. Think about it, in that sense, you really are taking on such an incredible challenge. Indeed, if Impy really did reach the moon, that story of great achievement itself may be passed down to future generations as a legend or a myth. Excuse me. Seriously? Oh man, this actually excites me. Just you wait, Moon. The future legend will reach you no matter what the cost. Impy thrusts his arm out towards the night sky with force. I am sure that the dreams he aspires are filled with the same passion felt by those old romantics from a long ago. I am having a hard time reading. With such conviction, I look forward Saint Germain beside me. Hey, Saint Germain, if Impy actually does become a legend, how do you think that they describe him? Well, for one, I'm certain they'll describe him as someone who gets easily carried away. Yes, I agree. Saint Germain and I laughed together as Impy was getting himself quite excited when we began to hear many hurried footsteps. Who's there? What are you doing? Huh? Impy and I both naturally raised a surprised voice. Before we knew it, there was countless soldiers gathered in front of us. You're clearly not from the castle. You must be intruders. An impudent act at Buckingham Palace, where Her Majesty the Queen resides. This is unforgivable. I believe now would be a good time to run. Hold on, Seikiji, didn't you get permission for this? You kept saying that it was a highly recommended spot, and I thought you had the clearance for this. Oh no. What gave you that idea? I simply told you that I knew of a good spot. God damn it! I bet you knew this was gonna happen, didn't ya? You must really be enjoying this. What should we do? We gotta get out of here. The last thing I need is an angry queen. Well then, let us shake off the soldiers and hop right in the ornithopter. Soldiers are moving quickly. As I step away from their angry faces, both of my hands were... Grabbed firmly by Impy and Saint Germain. The two pulled me. We went right through the soldiers, hopping on the ornithopter. Hold it right there. Our momentum broke us through their angry roars, and we flew through the sky once again. My god, I thought my heart was going to stop. I'm sure no one else has ever snuck into the royal palace to gaze at stars. Well then, in a sense, we may have just accomplished something worthy of legend. I like the way you think. I suppose our constellation could be a crew of star... Whoops! Of course. I giggled to myself at the thought of the romantic myth behind such a silly name. Saving. Okay, so that was Triangle Date. So I guess we just individually date these guys? So we skipped ahead. We probably should have played Future Blessings first. Oh well, we're here. I think I have Future Blessings. I don't know. We're going for it. Alright, let's go with Lupin. Yes. A terrorist plot that engulfed the entire world, orchestrated by the scientific genius Isaac Beckford, the modern Prometheus. Through the lunatic act of rendering himself the pseudo-deity, thus manipulating humanity to its bidding. Beckford sought to accelerate the advance of civilization by instigating an endless state of world war. Why? The linchpin? Oh my god, linchpin of this horrific plan was me, Isaac's daughter, Tink. Embedded in my chest, oh my god, embedded in my chest, blossoming like some terrible flower, was the precursor to the Philosopher's Stone, the horror. Yeah, that. Oof. Beating in perpetuity, it acted as an artificial heart, but it was also a curse, riddling my body with deadly poison. And yet, my destiny to live as a monster, forever unable to touch or be touched by another living soul. Slowly but surely, it all began to change the night I met a certain gentleman thief. Following that fateful night, both to search for my father and to discover the reason I was born, I journeyed to the city of Steel, London, where I met many a dear friend. Lupin. Magnificent gentleman thief. Impy, a brilliant engineer in pursuit of his dreams. Frankenstein, an alchemist haunted by his past. Saint Germain, a nobleman as mysterious as he was elegant. Abraham Van Helsing, a war hero known as the Human Weapon. In meeting them, and in living with them, I learned that I was more capable of love, and most certainly not a doll as I once believed. I learned that I could feel warmth. I learned that I was no monster. It was through them, I think, that I was able to save my brother. My little brother, who yearned for love and suffered dearly in search of it. It was through them I was able to confront him, a scientist who met a pitiful fate, driven mad by his quest for love lost. My father, in the end, he lost both his mad ideals and his life. I assume this is all in the last game. I've since returned to my family home in Wales and live with my brother, Finis. Sometimes my friends come to visit and occasionally I visit them, but most of my days are spent in tremendous peace and quiet with my brother. We've been back in Wales for some time now, and just as I began to fall into the rhythms of this calm new lifestyle, the season began to turn almost before I realized, and the crisp bite of winter was in the air. As we enter December, our breath is visible and puffs of white, and the wind can feel cold through the freeze. Winter in Wales is quiet and somehow lonely, but I know the city I hold so dear couldn't care less about the cold. I'm sure it's as vibrant as always. In fact, I have no doubt this winter the Steel City will be even livelier than last year. I found out only a few days ago. It seems London has plans to celebrate Christmas with even more pomp than usual, celebrating its successful reconstruction. Queen Victoria herself intends to lead her subjects in decorating the streets with Christmas trees, and the grand Christmas market will be chock-a-block with stalls and stands. As beautiful as the city is, you can only imagine how glorious it will all seem decorated in a riot of color. It'll be such an eventful day. I can't imagine it. My friends, oh my god. Excuse me. I can't imagine my friends won't be celebrating, especially Lupin, who definitely loves a good party. I have a feeling something wonderful is going to happen on Christmas. I can't shake the notion. So, likewise, I can't help but be excited for the fast approaching date. This is a tale of certain Christmas day in glorious Wintertide London. Winter. Night falls early, and morning is slow to arrive. The sun seems reluctant to spend much time in the sky, and bracing winds chill to the bone. On an icy, early winter's night, beneath a moon so starkly cold it feels as though even breath would freeze. Why does he suddenly announce her for every anime? My, your marvelous welcome does me honor, good sir. Absolutely no good thieving excuse for a merchant. The golden necklace you so wrongly possess, ill-gotten through the woeful oppression of innocence, shall hereby be commandeered by a magnificent gentleman thief. Arsene Lupin? Oh my god. My elegant voice echoes through the night, shattering the winter silence like glass. What do you fools think you're doing? Apprehend him. Kill him if you must. Upon hearing the merchant's cry, a small army of hired thugs rushes into the room. 10 of them, 20, 30. Bizarrely, the merchant begins to applaud, seeming pleased by how many of his thugs he managed to summon. I chuckle breezily and spread my hands. Goodness me, apologies, I say. Commandeer? But I fully intend to pay. Very well then, you deserve every last farthing, good sir merchant. Keep the change. I wave my arm and thick white smoke instantly engulfs the chamber. Get back, get back. This is no ordinary smoke. I can't move. And with that, the merchant's small army is wholly incapacitated. Leaving the stunned thugs behind, I kick open the window, grab a roof tile, and sling myself onto the rooftop. I hardly need to mention it, but my escape route was planned long in advance. Laughing again, louder this time, I dance off the roof and into the London night. Right, another magnifique. Magnifique Hall. I really do amaze myself. You guys are seeing how terrible my reading skills are. Dashing along the dashing along the rooftop of the narrow wall, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, leaving the panicked voices calling after me far behind. I fly through the city as though my feet grew wings. But really, fraud after fraud, fattening his purse. Villains will be villains, no matter where the wind takes you. I steal a glance at the necklace I tucked safely in my pocket. I had researched it, and the merchant from whom I liberated the bauble had acquired it less than... Yeah. I know the yard. I know the yard. Where did I get... Oh, because it's the red word. I know the crooked fat cat won't report its thief to the yard. He wouldn't dare. What are they doing to me? He wouldn't dare if the constabulary presses him about it. Its prevalence, he may very well find himself in prison. That said, it's possible that the yard may mount an investigation of their own accord. My escape caused no small racket. Pish tush. Sure. It's none of my concern. The man brought it on himself. And now, find a likely space to hop down and melt into a crowd, and... Predictable. You go predictable, Lupin. I know precisely what you're up to. What? Captain Leon? How the hell did you get up here? Just as I was about to jump the gap to the next rooftop, a familiar face rose from beneath eaves. I hadn't the foggiest where he may have caught wind of my nocturnal daring do. But nevertheless, here I stand before the captain of the Royal Guard and his men. Any number of ploys I might play came to mind, but Lionheart was skilled. He had proven himself a troublesome adversary. I click my tongue and stop cold, scanning for an alternative route, just as I spot one. Right then, guardsmen, take aim. Jesus! Half a heartbeat later, the men waiting at attention had trained their guns on me. Whoa, whoa. You're gunning me down without questioning? Need you ask? I am Captain Rempart Leonhardt. Clothed in immense power, I tarry not with common criminals. Meaning he's a shoot first, ask later sort of bloke. Because talk confuses him. The captain will hear you. Worry not. These are rubber bullets. They may not break bones, but 'tis a trifle. Soon you will be in custody, so worry not. Worry not. You've yet to utter a single word that doesn't worry me. Curses. 10 guardsmen with rifles aimed straight at my heart. I'd have little problem escaping without as much as a flesh wound if I had been running this job solo. But guardsmen, fire! Tink! My body moves of its own accord. Rubber bullets may not be fatal, but direct hit would still do serious damage. Amid that, none would get past me. I spread my cape wide open to protect. Oh no. I realize my mistake too late and immediately regret my actions. I might protect the whole of London from the Lionheart's rubber bullets, but it would be to no avail. Why? My beautiful star apprentice will always be by my side. Was no longer by my side. Aw, where am I? We got him? Captain, it's a hit. Lupin seems to have fallen beneath the eaves. Captain? Ahem, well done. Form a perimeter around the whole area he fell at once. Yes, sir. Lupin captured so easily? Could this be some sort of trap? He's trying to protect me, but I wasn't there. Yeah, that... My fall had been broken by shrubbery. Thoroughly tangled within it, I mutter unconsciously to myself. The illustrious gentleman thief committing such a daft blunder in front of Lionheart and his men. A rubber bullet to the chest whilst distracted by someone who wasn't even there. A head first fall into the topiaries. This preposterous vision of a pathetic... Why, dude? Purloiner? Stuck in a bush, doubtless one of my top 10 greatest failures. Trying to ignore the prickling pain, I forced my way through the shrubs to regain to my feet. A spark of luck amidst the misfortune. Since I had fallen so easily, the guards would be on high alert, hackles raised. Indeed, London's finest appeared to be moving with utmost caution. If I manage to melt away into the evening throngs, I'll be home free, though a more inelegant escape is hard to imagine. I use my wire to vault over the wrought iron fence, dodging the tree branches, and swiftly turn to another street. Still dazed from the shock of the fall and impact, I break into a run. Murday, how does that happen? If only this had been isolated mishap, but the fact is, I have been making far too many amateurish blunders of late. Gritting my teeth against the cold sprint down the lane of the mansion. Where was I? Ouch. Ow, 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 ow. Hey, quit it, Victor. This tincture stings like hell. You're the one who demanded efficiency over all else, Lupin. Now hold still. No, I'm telling you that the poison is... The great and the mighty master thief now laid low from a meek medical man. Yeah. Real talk though, you barge in wounded and Victor just happens to be visiting. I call that good luck. Truly, but this isn't like you, Lupin. Since when do you come back with flesh wounds? This last job was, you know, I wasn't at my best at, is all. Victor had a day off from the clinic today, visiting as many good, as any good friend might. He now finds himself wryly tending to my wounds. I came back to the mansion quite exhausted and in not insignificant pain, only to find myself thoroughly manhandled through Victor's medical machinations. Crikey. In Japanese. Crikey. Mm-hmm. But did they do a number on you? Look here. This bruise. Wonder what might happen if I gave it a good jab. Low blow. Victor, another casualty for you. While you were at it, do me a favor and check his mental faculties, would you? It's lovely to see you two getting along so well, but no more casualties, please. What a badass dog. Ah, sorry, Cece. Looks like you were worried about me too. It's a Full Metal Alchemist dog. I let my body go limp, Cece lapping at my hand. Healing quickly is infinitely superior to healing slowly, yes. And I asked for this stinging tincture myself. Stinging, more like burning. It better not be poison. I keep my breathing steady as Victor applies the last of the dubious ungament. And that should do it. Thank goodness you didn't break any bones. Most of it's just skin abrasion and impact bruises. The pain won't last long. Thanks. You're a lifesaver, Victor. I roll down my sleeves gently, attempting to avoid the cuts and scrapes. Victor and Impy look fixed at me. Atypical concern writ on their faces. In any case, this really isn't like you, Lupin. You were nearly arrested, a shock in itself, and you came back like this? I know, right? I might expect this if he had tussled with Sholmes, but apparently he ran into an old man Leonhardt? I'm just not feeling entirely myself. These things happen, I suppose. Wait a tick. I caught that. You think I would have been thrown in the clink if that make-believe detective were after me? I try to summon up a bluster, but I hear the lack of conviction in my voice. It was clear even to me that the excuses and reassurances were falling flat. Not feeling yourself, eh? Other than the scrapes and bruises, I can find nothing else amiss. Of course, it's getting chillier and chillier, and people are starting to catch colds. Any hint of that, Lupin? No. Physically, I'm fine. I don't feel ill or anything. Well, if you can't point to anything specific, maybe you're just plain old tired. I mean, ever since the incident, oh my god, you've been hurtling across the channel to France and back without a moment's rest. He's right. Sometimes we don't register the repercussions of fatigue until it all suddenly crashes down out of the blue. So that's it. I mull the idea over and it makes sense. I realized that I had been nodding unconsciously. But seriously, at this rate, if the yard doesn't nab you, someone else just might. Infamous gentleman thief, Arsene Lupin, apprehended after slipping and falling. I can see it now. No way. No way. Right? Anyway, if I ever am caught, God forbid, the very first thing out of my mouth will be the comprehensive list of accomplices. My, such an ironclad bonds of trust we share. I can't help but grin from this. Oh my god. I can't help but grin at this. Shrugging my shoulders, Victor and Impy nod and laugh sardonically. At any rate, adventures are off until you're feeling better. Healing and rest are a top priority. Doctor's orders. The fact of the matter is, I can think of nothing more embarrassing than getting nabbed because I pushed myself too hard. With a single quick nod, I resolved to accept Victor's advice. 1 week later. Because, you know, after you commit crimes like that, you just take a nap. You know? Très bien. I think I'm back in fighting shape. So I just spent a week sleeping. For the first few days of my convalescence, I took it easy, resting as I worked on escape gadgets. Gradually, I began to move my body, transitioning to light exercise with Cece. With all the time I had in my hands, it seemed a good opportunity. Why do I keep doing that? To put a theory to the test. Aw, gentlemen. Well, it doesn't feel like my skills have gotten rusty or anything. Warming up at the casual place, I close my eyes and listen carefully. The faint scent of machine oil wafting from the inner courtyard must mean Impy is tinkering with his machines again. Outside my window, I hear birds. Judging from the birdsong and wing flap distribution, there must be 4 of them. Very good, perfect. I haven't lost my touch, not even close. In fact, it almost feels as though my senses are sharper than they were before. So while the amateur slip-ups lately, I still haven't the foggiest. Maybe it has something to do with finding myself on the other side of that terrible incident. Maybe I got complacent. My words disapparate into empty air, with nobody to hear them but me. Jesus. When I think of a major turning point in my life, the absolute first thing that comes to mind is, unsurprisingly, the incident. Isaac Bedford's world-spanning terrorist action that he called Code Realize. I had been aware of it and actively trying to quelch it since before I left France. In the end, we were able to prevent the conflagration from expanding beyond the UK's borders. Me, my friends, Tink. After succeeding my master, it became my only goal. My raisin diatribe. And to be perfectly blunt, it was the performance of heroic thief Arsène Lupin's life. With such monumental tasks achieved, I feel satisfied, elated really. Perhaps that's why. My moral code as a thief remains steadfastly unchanged. Yet I no longer feel like my old self. I fulfilled my ultimate goal, and in so doing, perhaps lost something of myself. It does make sense. It makes perfect sense, and yet, it's not the entire explanation, is it? I feel restless, ill at ease, unable to shake the feeling I've lost something important. It feels like some force that had been beside me for so long, something I had taken for granted, was suddenly gone. ... As if privy to my thoughts, a knock reverberates through the house. My heart skips a beat. No, it couldn't be. Wales is on the other side of the country. She can't possibly be here. Yes, she does visit from time to time, but surely not today. Fully cognizant of the fact on a purely logical level, I nonetheless call out her name, hoping against hope for a distant possibility. Tink? Well, I was quite sure you would be napping, but it would seem you are awake. Forgive my intrusion, Lupin. A slim figure stands in in the doorway, though not the one I was expecting. It was the lord of the manor himself, the Count Saint Germain. Is it you, Saint Germain? What, you come back? Indeed, I have. But I offer my apologies for failing to send word. I've only just made my entry to London. I had something... excuse me. I had something happen with the shadowy organization Saint Germain seems to work for. Idea? After the... Nautilus? Yeah, Nautilus. After the Nautilus incident, Saint Germain had been spending less and less time at the mansion. But for whatever reason, he is once again returning to the mansion with frequency. Back when our lives were inextricably... Oh my god. Enmeshed. With the... Oh. Our personal goals came into conflict a few times. But with that affair at an end, there can be no doubt Saint Germain is a trustworthy friend to us all. I brought some lovely leaves back from my sojourn. I thought I might as well stop in and trouble you for tea and conversation. A party of two men may lack the certain feminine je ne sais quoi, but would you care to join me? Without waiting for a reply, Saint Germain begins pouring black tea. Don't tell me, Victor and Co. told you I was not feeling well. Paraphrasing. Saint Germain claims some other half-articulated reason for dropping by, but I'm sure he's concerned for me. Grateful for the Count's thoughtful nature, I sit down across from him. Hey, sorry about this. I appreciate your concern. Tut-tut, not at all. Concern for one's friends is only natural. Although, my mind, this is a rarity. I can't recall ever having seen your face so lined with worry. It's no grave concern. Victor and Impy worry too much. I'm just feeling a bit under the weather, and... Inscrutable as ever, Saint Germain scans my face wordlessly. His thoughts are impossible to read. What's wrong? This is getting uncomfortable. Forcefully avoiding his gaze, I take a sip from my tea. This cloud over your head, might it have some relation to Miss Tink? The Count expertly plucks that which had been ailing me from within the depths of my chest, and I hack dramatically. Hey, you better not tell me you can read people's minds. With this whole idea thing. Certainly not. I heard her name on the tip of your tongue not moments ago. This is merely confirmation. That said, I confess I did not expect such a genuine reaction. Saint Germain managed to poke me right where it hurt. I couldn't think of anything to say. Clearly pulling no punches, he takes another step towards me. I had my suspicions. You feel unwell because your thoughts are always with her, and they throw you off course. So that's it. Makes sense. I couldn't deny it. Looking back, this is what almost got me caught by that crooked merchant's guards. And just earlier, when I couldn't collect my thoughts, they are always dominated by thoughts of her, Tink. Aww, he thinks of me. It is only natural that you would miss her, so once she left London behind. I read that wrong, with the wrong emphasis. That is so essential. That is how essential she was. Even I feel sadness, as if my house was no longer graced by a delicate, beautiful flower. Well, yeah, true. You never know. I can't deny the fact that I miss her. But, it's not something exclusive to her. Van Helsing. Delhi? Sure. I miss them too. When they left, I mean. There's no need for such consternation. I understand all too well. It was true, though, even Victor, here in the same city, through quite a distance from Saint Germain's estate. The only people living here now are myself, Impy, and Saint Germain, master of the manse. Not to forget Cece, but the human occupants number 3. Realizing how drastically my friends and housemates were dwindled in numbers, the black tea sits bitter in my throat. We had 8 people plus plus 1 living here, didn't we? Such lively days they were. Now with the estate so quiet, it does feel a mite strange. Haha. Even with the loudest lout of all still in the residence? Still. Even though I've had to part with friend after friend. Parting with Tink was another matter entirely. When I think of them, in the first face in my mind's eye is always hers. Unable to deny the fact to myself, has formed a vicious circle, only making it worse. Unable to deny what's really going on with me. As I said earlier, it is exceptionally rare to see you this visibly concerned. At any rate, I do hope you'll find some way to summon up your usual self by the end of December. End of December? Saying nothing, Saint Germain produces a broadsheet and slides it over to me. Wearing a puzzled expression, I cast my eyes over. Ostentatiously presented article on the front page. Yuletide in the Steel City, illuminating the holy light. Commemorating reconstruction in the wake of the Nautilus incident, the Queen has announced the grand Christmas festivities. A citywide festival. How magnanimous of Her Majesty. Indeed, I hear she seeks to outshine the damage done to the city with the truly grand, splendidly illuminated festivities. With the entire city united in celebration, I thought we might have one of our own at the mansion. It wouldn't do good for our friends to wind up feeling gloomy on such a festive holy night. The corner of my mouth turns up in a dry smile, and the Count's way of being considerate is so very him. I'm sure he visited my room this morning specifically to show me that article. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, Saint Germain eventually takes to sleep. Alone now, I absent-mindedly reflect on events of the recent past. A massive blunder I still scarcely believe I committed. Acting so unlike myself, my friends are voicing concern. And I just can't pull myself out of it. At the heart of it all, Tink, it's because you're no longer by my side. I had to admit it to myself. Ever since Tink left our merry band and returned to Wales, I haven't been able to stop thinking about her. And that's led to countless little mistakes that keep adding up. To borrow Victor's turn of phrase, these must be the repercussions of my fatigue. Pathetic. How many times have I heard, you don't realize the true worth of something until it's gone? What worth indeed. Without her here... I clicked it too fast. Hold on. I can rewind. What worth indeed. Without her here, I feel as though I've completely lost sight of who I am. I suppose that I had taken being with Tink for granted. A matter of course. Immediately following this realization, bitter regret burns in the pit of my stomach. I think back to our party. I'm considering going back home to Wales to live with my Finis. It was shortly after we succeeded in preventing Isaac... God damn. It was shortly after succeeding in preventing Isaac Beckford's heinous terrorist attack. But from Tink and Finis's perspective, they had only just lost their father. She delivered this news to the entire crew with Finis by her side. I suspected such a day might eventually come. Our gang formed organically, comrades united by shared objectives. Some of us achieved those objectives, and some did not. Still others among us found their objectives changed entirely. Though we had personal goals, once the most pressing issue had been quelled, our relationship did not remain the same. In that milieu, Tink's decision to return to her family home with her only brother seemed natural enough, even if all of us wished the day had not come quite so soon. And when the day of her departure arrived, I expended my every ounce of will to keep myself from stopping her. If a happy life with her family is what she truly desires, who am I to stop her? The train carrying... Did it change my name back? The train carrying Cardia receded gradually into the distance. Yeah, that was totally supposed to be me. The call of its steam whistle grew faint, then silent. And yet, there I remained. I don't know how long I stood staring at those train tracks, stretching as far as the eye could see. If only I had chosen different words that day. If only I'd been able to... If only I'd been able to toss aside my vanity and stubbornness, my pride, and simply yell out, "Don't go." Tink may very well have stayed here in the mansion, her day spent happy with friends. And she wouldn't have been right beside me. And she would have been right beside me. I can just see her laughing so close our hands could touch. Could such a future have come to pass? ... Empty, meaningless fantasies of futures that might have been passed through my mind, one after another. Loneliness. No, that single word couldn't begin to describe the weight, the choking heat of what I was feeling. What the hell is wrong with me? The great Arsene Lupin, grandest thief in the world, reduced to this. I fall flat on my bed, releasing an inarticulate groan. It's not as though I'll ever see her again. I'll never see her again. She still comes to visit London from time to time. And Wales may be quite a distance, but far from an insurmountable one. Why doesn't he go to her? The skies were unusually clear, making the heavens seem even more vast than usual. At the far corners of my vision, the sun glints brightly in the stark winter sky. I wonder what Tink is doing right now. ... There's absolutely no point in just brooding on this. This is not me. Now that I finally understood what the problem is, there's any number of ways I can tackle the issue. Paying an unexpected visit probably wouldn't be the best idea. So first, Now to enact this plan I've concocted. I sit at my desk. Why do these people do? Ruminating. Oh. Dear Miss Tink, I shall be arriving in Wales shortly to claim your winsome smile. Sincerely, Arsene Lupin, gentleman thief. Perfect. Now to gather intel, secure my entry and exit routes. Wait, what? Did I just write an intention to burgle notice? I crumpled it up and tossed it away, the sheet of the letter paper upon which I had instinctively written one of my typical dramatic notices. Scratching my head, I stared blankly at the new sheet of stationery, equally as blank. We had exchanged letters before, though not with any particular frequency. But today, for some reason, the words are refusing to flow. Blast. I'm a complete blank. Who knew normal letters were so damnably hard? I can bang out one of my theatrical intention to burgle notices with barely half a thought, but when it came down to the writing of this particular missive, I felt like I was dragging my pen hand through molasses. I can't sit here grinding my teeth. I'll just start writing and figure out as I go along. Off the top of my head. I definitely don't want to get her discombobulated by writing about my recent woes. So, it might be better to write how I've been feeling and what I've been thinking about lately instead of current events. So what have you been thinking about? Yeah, only Tink. Listen, Tink, ever since you left the mansion, I haven't been able to think about anyone but you. Yeah. Your face, your hands, your lips. The foul specter of poison divides us no longer. Nothing stands in our way. Please, my beloved, mend the ruptures in my tender heart with the sweet warmth of your lips. Jesus! Yeah, Lupin, you dog. What the hell am I writing? A teenage love confession? I'm not posting this worthless piece of... No! To a wad and hurl it violently in the bin. This is just embarrassing. It was worse than a certain hack engineer who shall remain nameless might write. And what's worse, what if she reads it, gets the wrong idea, and the gulf between us grows even wider? I thought through things again. Rewrote, discarded, rewrote, rinsed, repeated. I can't think of anything. I thought the second letter was nailing it. Once the bin was completely full, I let my head fall to the desk and I raised a weak cry. Sigh. Is there no solution here? I'm trying to write a letter because I wanted to see her. That's the entire point. Yet I can't even write those simple words, really. How pathetic can I get? Just say I want to see you. Like, I miss your face, I want to see you. Groaning, my cheek pressed against the surface of my desk, I noticed something laying on its far corner. It was the broadsheet newspaper Saint Germain had left earlier. That's right. The front page article was all about the London... This is it, the answer. being invited to the party. Days passed in the blink of an eye. Before I knew it, it was only a few days until Christmas. All throughout the city, gleaming decorations were being hung up and the grand Christmas market had sprung up. Preparations were being made across London for the sumptuous festivities to come, just as here on this particular high street. Aww. And of course the spirit of Christmas had come upon St. Germain's manse as well. Hey Lupin, grab that bell over there for me, would you? I gotta hang this on the wall. Dots. Bonjour, Monsieur Lupin. Are you listening? Huh? Oh yeah, decorations here. Thank you. The fella decided to bite me. A mistake has been made, sir. Why are you handing me, Cece? Oh, sorry, Cece. This is the part where you apologize to me? Come now, Lupin's just a little bit distracted at the moment. More importantly, Lupin, might I trouble you to place the star ornament on the top for me? Oh, sure. I've got this. Gentlemen thieves are renowned for being light on their feet. Right, so this is the one? Nailed it. Of the ornaments I took a swan dive into when I tripped. Instead, I was shocked, in disbelief at having tripped like this. I'm sorry, Victor. Christmas is right around the corner. Been doing my absolute best to get back to my old self, but what results? This? This is a conundrum. It seems our dapper gentleman thief is having quite a difficult time getting back on his feet. How about a proper rest? I mean, for true. You're sure you aren't actually... I'm well aware of the source and certain at all. My shoulders drooped even lower. Very well then. Oh. Shall we retire and delay to work when they show up? Oh yeah, they're coming back to London soon, right? Yeah, that's their plan, but as for just then, St. Germain hurriedly takes a step forward before Victor can finish his sentence. My, I almost forgot. Lupin, there's a small favor I hope to ask for you. Victor seemed consternated at having been cut off. I cocked my head quizzically. A favor? Yes, we'd be much obliged if you might turn and fetch a few more ingredients for the Christmas party. Isn't that so, Impy? Oh, right. Just hold them horses, and I'll polish the shopping list off in a jiff. Impy jotted the list down with such speed it began to thrust in my face before he had finished speaking. I glanced over the shopping list of Impy's and chuckled sardonically, nodding at him. Right-o. Fair enough. I'll pick up what you need. I imagine I'd be more help as an errand boy than blundering around here anyway. They invited Tink. And with that, Lupin made his way wearily out of the mansion. Count? Victor fixed St. Germain with questioning look. Are you positive you don't want to tell Lupin yet? If we had only told him, he might not be so out of sorts. And if he stays this way, in truth my heart is equally pained. But with things as they are, neither party benefits from the endless dragging on. Well, even if we must suffer being born a bit of a... Oh my god, being born a bit of a grudge, wouldn't you say the time has come for more drastic measures? They're going to kill him. Alright, I'm going to take a 2-minute break because my throat is killing me. I'm not used to reading so terribly in front of you guys. So... I'm going to take a 2-minute break and then I will be back. And then we'll finish up at least this chapter before we head out. So, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. The Christmas market lives up to the reputation. I didn't expect quite so many people. Grumbling about... Excuse me. Oh, there we go. Grumbling about what a bother it is to shove through throngs of market goers, I steadily make my way forward. A vast sea of boisterous humanity surrounds me, making merry. Bitches making merry. The location where the market proper was being held is especially resplendent. Catching snatches of lively conversation as they ebb and flow all around me gives me the impression of a festival grounds. ... The thing is, figuring out the real reason Saint Germain and MP sent me on this errand, child's play. They just want me to step out of the house and into the city to refresh myself. I don't think that's it. Crikey, Saint Germain is one thing, but Impy? They must have been legitimately worried about me. As I survey the scene with a sigh, all manner of people hove into view, young and old alike. Couples arm in arm, rambunctious children, watched over by their parents, groups of friends engaging in animated conversation. And it wasn't just people. Every building was decorated, each market tent was seemingly a different color. The very air seemed somehow Christmassy. I crane my head in all directions, yet nowhere do I fail to see glittering lights. The sheer number of bodies crowded together here, it's more or less the perfect training grounds for thievery. Skillfully darting my way through the crowd gaps and in the buzzing crowd. Through the gaps in the buzzing crowd. There we go. Say, ideal practice for a thief's artful skills of disappearance. Say, maybe if I can find the time, I could have Tink try her hand at... I sighed heavily and put a deliberate stop to that dead end train of thought. Sigh. This is a grave state of affairs. I realize she's all I can think about. But how long have I been like this? My mood is on sharply descending curve in marked contrast to the jolly atmosphere. No matter how much I pine a daydream about how lovely it would be to stroll through these streets together, I have a sinking feeling such fantasies will never become reality. It's been a whole since you visited London. Why not take advantage of the Christmas holidays and come? A full calendar month has passed since I posted that letter. Regrettably, Tink's response, which I had now acquired an almost... Okay, so she didn't write it back. Neither did a reply to the duplicate letter I sent in the case of an unforeseen accident. At the very least, I thought she'd post some sort of reply. Even as recently as last month, Tink's replies came as regularly as you please. Why now, of all times, to suddenly grow silent? Sigh. She couldn't possibly have come to dislike me, could she? I shoved the distressing notion aside, forcefully extracting it from my thoughts. While living together amongst our friends, we came to know one another very well. No, I could say without ego, the worst she might possibly harbor for me would be a sort of respect, not distaste. Assuming that instinct is correct. Other possibilities might conceivably include... Oh, Jesus Christ. I met someone. I met a man. We've already begun to plan our wedding. It would be ever so lovely if you could join us. No. That couldn't possibly. My outburst prompts more than one alarmed glance from passers-by. But the baleful looks hardly register. Not a one among us would deny that Tink herself comprises our merry gang's finest treasure. Neither can I deny the suitors could line the high street to woo her. Jesus Christ. Even so, I refuse to believe one of these hypothetical suitors would be able to best me in winning her over. Yet, this malignant hypothesis that she had found someone is unshakable. If she decided to be with someone else from our crew, I might be able to bear it. Heart trending through. It would be. Jesus. But can canoodling with some random, churlish, low-born lout of the street I will not stand. Huh? What? Getting into the spirit of the season, Sir Gentleman Thief. Hey! Why, I practically ran into you just now. Granted, the city is all a bustle. We are... but aren't we being a mite too careless? Huh. If it isn't the amateur sleuth. I turned around to regard the great detective wearing, as always, an inscrutably compromised smile. Not my favorite face in the world, perhaps. But at that moment, I was glad of anything that would take my mind off the track it was sprawling into, I think. I brushed Sloane slightly to... hand off my shoulder. What do you want from me, anyway? I'm fairly sure I haven't committed any acts today that requires summary apprehension. Of course not. I would know. A friendly greeting, nothing more. Yeah, but it doesn't take away all the thieving you did otherwise. As it happens, I'm off duty as well. Even if I were bade to bring you down to the yard, I certainly wouldn't do it here and now. Then the rematch will have to wait. Look, I've got some shopping to do, so adieu. Come now. Surely you aren't in that much of a rush. I attempt to summon an officious air and hustle past the man, but it was no use. No use. The not at all amateur sleuth was too sharp for his own good. I suspected as much. You aren't yourself today. In fact, I failed to perceive even a blush of your usual confidence intact. You're completely vulnerable. Attention scattered. I've been tailing you for 10 minutes, and I do not think you noticed. So, this is how you kill time, or... If you had your wits about you, I would never have been able to get so close. I must admit, this was unexpected. Oh, please. What if I was just pretending not to notice you on purpose, huh? The sulkiness in my own voice surprised me, but Sholmes merely crossed his arms and averted his eyes as if in deep thought. Quickly returning his piercing gaze to mine, the detective made a statement I was certain I had already heard once. These profoundly I forgot how I said his name. Arsene Lupin actions, I surmise. The source is Miss Tink, the young lady, correct? First Saint Germain, now him. Since when did I start becoming so easily read? How did you arrive at that conclusion then? Your world-famous deduction? As I said, I've been tailing you. Yes? And observing. All your actions is center around thinking about someone. The rest is a simple process of elimination. Put simply... fine. You don't need to spell it out. Sholmes was aware of my teacher-student relationship with Tink, so it was no great logical leap for him to make. But still, being told precisely what my problem was by yet another person only underlined my restlessness further. I must say, I haven't a wealth of knowledge about her current situation, and I have no intention of prying, but this lack of spirit is beginning to discourage even me. If you would permit me, I may be willing to part with some of my wisdom. No. This isn't a case I can borrow the great detective's skill to solve. I just haven't been in touch with her, is all. Hey. There you are. I've been looking everywhere, lanky bastard, wandering off to Lord knows where. Can we just get what we came for and head back to the office already? I told you we were doing our spring cleaning early. A voice called out from afar, effectively bringing the conversation to a close. It was a tall man I didn't recognize, waving his arms for some distance away. You're being summoned, Sholmes. A friend of yours? Indeed. A most important friend, at that. Smiling apologetically, Sholmes turns and moves to walk off toward the companion, but leaves me with one last moment before doing so. In the course of my profession, I've come to know both criminal and victim as well. And today, your expressions strike me as more victim than thief. What's that supposed to mean? Your face is a lost cast. The look of someone who has had something of great importance stolen from him. Sholmes chuckles dryly, pointing his finger directly at me. A typical victim might enlist the aid of a detective to regain this precious thing, but that isn't quite your style, is it? Sholmes finally walks away, without looking back, however. Where's the sport being the world's greatest detective without a grand thief to pursue, and only another victim? Whatever decision you make, I shall be following your exploits with great interest. Aw, he wants an opponent. Follow my exploits with great interest, will you? Watching the great detective melt into the crowd, I resentfully spat back his words. Frankly, it was all I could do with them. Why? Because he had arrived at the truth of it, no matter how much his manner rubbed me the wrong way. Well, there's my answer. It's because she's not here. Her mere absence makes me anxious. It really does feel like the most precious thing to me has been stolen. How pathetic. How miserable. To be admonished by Sholmes, my arch nemesis. Elegant gentleman thief, indeed. Ugh, damn it all. The more I understand this, the more I piss myself off. To morally sending a letter and sitting around waiting for a reply, that is a gentleman thief I do not recognize. I stare at my hands. These hands. With these hands I stole her away. The beautiful girl who believed she was a monster. Of course she never was a monster. Only a girl I let slip through my fingers to walk her own path. But that was the past. No longer is she the key to some unspeakable terror. No longer does she have to face life with the monstrous bearer of deadly poison. Now, for completely different reasons entirely, I'm going to have to steal her back. I still can't fathom why Tink hasn't replied to my letters, but whatever her reasons may be, how could the world's greatest thief possibly shirk away from reclaiming the finest prize he had ever won? I'm making this my second chance. That day, that terrible day, seeing her off to Wales, unable to stop her, I will not let that happen again. Wait for me, Tink. Far, far west of London, our home stands in stately silence. This deep within the forest county of Wales, even horse-drawn carriages can be a rare sight, to say nothing of trains. Ni-sama. Oh. So, we're at Tink. I think we're gonna stop there, because there is a nope. Can we nope. Yeah, we can save. Alright. So we'll stop there. You exited a block scene? The whole story is a block scene? Jesus. I don't know if we'll continue this. We might continue this. It's a lot of reading. We got a lot of other games to play. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll circle back to it. What's up, Mystical? Just saw you, man. You came just in time for the stream to end. It looks like I came at a bad time. Yeah, man. I just kind of finished up. We were going through a big story, so I kind of paused it halfway through. But I will be back tomorrow streaming more. I don't know what I'll be streaming, but I'll be streaming more tomorrow. Maybe I'll throw up a poll on Twitter and see what we want to do. Because right now I'm kind of whatever about everything. I'm down to play anything. So we'll see. I'm thinking I really need to start something. Wait. I really need to start something very story driven, which is what I was trying to. I gotta tell you something. What is it, Mystical? What's up? We'll watch the Code Realize ending. Or opening. Yeah, man, it's rough. I mean, it sucks because it's a great game, but I mean, I don't really have that problem because I play mostly casual. But yeah, it sucks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by and telling me what's up. I miss you, man. And maybe we can still play casual sometime. I don't blame you. I mean, it sucks. People are crappy. Competitive games like that, this is how they get. But I'll send you a message or something on Twitter. We'll talk. But for now, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back tomorrow with something else probably. So see you tomorrow. Oh, also big news. So I almost forgot. So I started a second channel. It's called Tink of the Ring. It's a completely wrestling focused channel. So if you're into wrestling, yeah, check that out. It's there's a Twitter, Tink of the Ring, and there's a Twitch account. And basically I'll be doing recaps, predictions, that kind of stuff for the week in wrestling. So check that out. I'm not going to talk about it a lot on this channel because I know, the people that watch my gaming stuff aren't necessarily all wrestling fans. So we'll keep it separate. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it's out there. I'll be streaming there Wednesday and Sunday. So check that out. But anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.